All right, guys, this is your final assignment with your book and movie project. This is going to be the essay that you are going to write, and this is the big summative grade that you've been working up to. Okay, so please, please, please watch this or listen to this because some of the journals that you've been doing along the way, you've kind of missed some of the points. So, because you're not quite doing what we're asking of you. So I want to make sure that you understand all of it so that you can put these things into your essay. Okay. So the point of doing this essay is to analyze the choices made when telling the same story in two different formats. So to think about analyzing, when we talk about that, we want you to incorporate all these things here, what the essay should include, which I'm going to go over in a minute. But I'm also going to share with you this web page that goes through exactly point by point some things to think about when you're analyzing. I know it's a lot to look at here, but when you get stuck in your essay or you can't get enough in your essay, go and look at some of these points and see how you can add those into your essay when analyzing. Now, this specifically talks about analyzing a text, but you can also use these things to analyze the film. Okay, or compare and contrast those differences between your text and the film. So, first of all, let's talk about the requirements. It is due next Monday by the end of the day. You need to make sure it's an MLA format. I give you a link here, but that will take you to, whoops, not that one, sorry. That will take you to MLA format, exactly how to format your first page of your paper. Here's an example of what it looks like. Remember that there is a template, an MLA format template in Google Docs. The only thing is this header is not set up right, so you got to go back in and set that up. You may also have another paper that you've done that was in correct MLA format. Go and make a copy of that, take all the other text out, update it for the right teacher, the right class, the right date, and you're good for the MLA format there. Okay. Otherwise, send me questions if you're not sure. Okay. That's really important that you format it right. It needs to be at least 700 words in length. So that'll be about 2.5, 2.5 pages, type double space. Okay. We do not want you to just list similarities and differences between the book and the film. We know you can find those anywhere. We want you to really analyze your book and your film. Okay. We don't want to know a summary from eNotes or Spark Notes or anything like that. So these are the things that your essay needs to include. Give us some background information about the book and the film. So give me some details about when was the book written? When was the film produced? Who was the author of the book? Who was the producer or writer of the film version? Okay, so you can Google those things and find those things out, but then tell us the difference between those things. How are the stories in the book and the film similar, and how are they different? So, what are some of the most drastic changes that were made in the film adaptation? Why do you think those changes were made? So here's just a little example. Like if I were going to use The Wizard of Oz, because it's my favorite story, sorry, but so if I were going to use The Wizard of Oz and I'm talking about the book, well, in the original story, Dorothy's shoes were silver. Okay, she was given silver shoes. They made an adaptation in the film to make the shoes red. So why would they make that change? It seems silly. Why would they make them ruby slippers instead of these shiny silver slippers? Well, the reason they made that change is because in The Wizard of Oz, it was the first colorized film. So they start out in black and white, and then when she goes to Oz, they go to color. So they thought that it would pop more on screen to make her shoes this beautiful, gorgeous, shiny red. It was the first time audiences ever saw color in the movie theater. And so to see this beautiful color pop out like that was much more impactful than just silver shoes, which would have not made any difference whether the film was black and white or color. So that's a big adaptation in the story, believe it or not. And that's the reason that they made that change on the film. Now, does that change at all impact the theme? No, it doesn't. But it is an adaptation that was important, and explained why they made it during that time. So let's talk a little bit about theme, because you do need to talk about theme. We've been having you guys write theme statements, and you're sort of missing the mark with that. Okay. So I'm going to provide this slideshow, which we have a couple of times, but I think you're not quite clicking on it and reading through it again. So I'm going to provide this again too for you. But remember, themes are not one word topics. They're not morals. Okay. It's not a life lesson. So you need to click a little further in here, into slide 5 and 6, and then into 7, 8, and 9, give you examples. Okay. So it is the idea of a controlling idea or central idea, okay, where a truth is revealed. So the idea of something like civilization or young love, prejudice, those aren't themes, but those are unifying elements. Those are truthful elements. Those are things, what we call a universal truth. Okay, that's a theme. So, but you can't just give me the one word. All right. What does the story say about those words? So this explains how you write a theme. Okay. You need the subject and a predicate or a verb about it. All right. It's never going to be like all encompassing. So you're never going to say it will always. All right. Remember doing these at the beginning of the year? We really practiced these and we wrote theme statements. But you can use words like some or sometimes, or it may, or it might, or it could. All right, so let's look at the examples here. If we talk about civilization, this is a theme statement, so it's going to be a full sentence. All right, due to the realities of human nature, civilization may be the only thing separating us from order and chaos. Example, if you want to say this story is about young love, well, what about it? Young love can lead you to be impulsive and make irrational decisions that are not necessarily wrong, but can result in tragic consequences. Okay, so again, it can, but not always, right? It can sometimes. Here's one more example, and then you guys can look through the rest. It may be impossible to deal with your own prejudice until we try to understand the experiences of those who are different from us. Okay, it may be impossible. So, really try to think about these when you are writing your theme. Okay. Okay. Um, so, going back to that, thinking about your theme, it says, let's see. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm here. I think I missed this one when I was talking about that. The essay should discuss how the stories are similar and different. What are the most drastic changes? And this should include explaining what the theme of the original book was and whether or not the theme was changed in any way for the film. So don't just say, well, the themes are exactly the same. Tell us what the theme is and how they were presented the same or differently for the book and the film. And if the theme did change in the book, how did it change? What was the new theme, okay, from the film? Um, so think about any specific storytelling choices made in the book and film. Explain why those were made. Again, my shoe example could fit into that as well. Consider choosing a pivotal scene in the film and explaining how accurately it portrays that same scene from the book. So some of you talked about your pivotal scene, but you didn't really explain it. You just said, that it was good because, or it was better in the film because of the way that the producers made it. What did they do that made it so much better? Tell us specifics about what the producers did in the film to portray that scene from the book. Okay. Keep in mind those languages of film. Go back and look at that information that we provided for you. Okay. If there's a scene that in your film that was not included in the book, why might they have added that scene? Okay. How did it change the aspect of the story? And make sure you include that too. So think about other points that you might include. What did the original book say about the times in which it was written? And do those ideas still apply today? How did the film adaptation capture those same ideas? So if I go back to The Wizard of Oz, it was written, obviously, years and years and years ago, and it was, kind of a statement on what was happening in the world during that time, sort of escaping from the difficulties of life and being able to go into this other really beautiful, glamorous world. Okay. Which version did you prefer? A lot of us are going to prefer film versions. Okay. But try to come up with better reason than just I'm a visual learner. All right. It's not about you, it's about the work itself. So, what made the film better than the book as a storytelling device, or what made the book better than the film as a storytelling device? Okay, so don't make it about you and what you prefer, like, oh, I just don't really like to read, I like to watch movies. That's not what we're asking. Okay, we're asking what makes it a better media format for literature. Okay, the film or the book, what makes it better? And then lastly, what does the story say about the times we're living in right now? Does it say anything about the importance of friends, family, perseverance, science, faith, whatever, that applies to specifically what we've been dealing with for the past 2 months? So I could again talk about Wizard of Oz. I'm just sticking with the same example for consistency. Okay. Well, this story to me says a ton about the importance of friends and family. Okay. Because think about right now how we can't be with those people. And, Dorothy was off in this other land, and she realized how much value those people in her life had to her. Okay, how much she just wanted to be back with them, that she took them for granted when she was there with them, and that she just wanted to be back there. Okay, perseverance was huge for her because she had to work through a lot of struggles and trials to get to the end goal. She had to have faith in this wizard that she, didn't know anything about, but she had to have faith in the wizard and in the good witch, that they would walk her through getting her back home. She had to have faith in the lion and the scarecrow and the Tin Man, that they would, be her friends and that they would get her to the Emerald City. So now, how do those things apply? Well, we have to have faith right now in our leaders, right? Our leaders that are giving us information and telling us it's going to be safe to go out on this day, and it's going to be safer if you use, this piece of equipment, or if you stay home and learn online. So think about what's going on right now and how these things apply to your story. Obviously, you might say, well, I can't think, that doesn't apply at all. But look deeper and pick out some of those things that might be able to connect. Okay. It's not going to directly connect, but thematically or in an underlying issue, you might be able to find that. So it's going to be 50 summative points. There will be a rubric that's going to be broken down in this way. Your content's going to be 30 points. Okay, that's the biggest part of it. So you need to make sure you fully explain the book and film well, that you have provided a true analysis of those points that I just went over. Okay, and that you are truly discussing the theme of each work. All right. Bring a fresh perspective to your content by explaining your personal reactions to both, not a summary that you find online, but how you reacted to both things. Your stories may be almost identical from your book to your film, but give us your reaction to the difference in the two. All right. The media part, um, visually, and the music and the lighting and all of those things may have affected you more, or reading the book, the imagery that they use in the book, the language that they use in the book may have had a more of a may have caused more of a reaction in you. So explain those to us. Explain why and how. Organization, full credit, 10 points, making sure that you follow the MLA guidelines, that you are giving us good transitions between your paragraphs, that each paragraph focuses on a topic by itself. You probably won't be citing sources. It's not a research paper, okay? So that's not something. You don't need a works cited at the end, but you do need to follow those format guidelines. And then 10 points for revising your paper and proofreading, okay? Don't make silly errors in capitalization, punctuation. Don't use lowercase i's, okay? Don't use a lot of you would like this, you see this happen in it, the word you, because it's not about me. I'm not the one that watched your film or read your book, okay? Make sure your writing is clear and concise. So again, it is due next Monday by the end of the day, and you can remember that by May the 4th be with you. All right. Please, please let us know if you have any questions, and make sure that you pay attention to these directions. All right. Good luck. Let us know if you need any help.